Hi you guys, and welcome back for another video. So this video is going to be a bit different. You will not see me in this video. You will only hear my voice. This video is going to be our love story, and I'm actually going to do it by reading my blog. So if you don't know, I do have a blog. You can see it here on your screen, and I started this blog I think shortly before this actual post. So I think it was maybe in February of 2015 is when I started this blog, and I started it before I started YouTube, and it was actually a way for me to reach out to other women that were going through the same thing. I had married my husband. Me and my husband had got married at the prison the year prior in August, and I didn't see a lot of things about prison wives and any, other people that were going through the same thing that I was now going through in my life. And so I wanted to be that support. I wanted to be that person that other women who may have gotten married after I got married, I wanted to be that go-to person that they can come to, and I'll be their support, the support that I was looking for around the time that I got married. Shortly after I started this blog, I did start my YouTube channel, and I became a bit inactive over here. I do have a few posts on here that you can go check out. I have the link to this blog in the description box below. But yeah, I did write our love story on this blog, and so I'm just going to read it and expand on the parts that I feel I need to expand on a little bit. And yeah, I don't want this video to be too long because me and my husband already have a pretty long history, 15 plus years worth of history. So I don't want this video to be too long, so we're gonna go ahead and jump right into it. This was written Saturday, February 28th, 2015. I titled it Life as a Prison Wife, The Foundation, Part 1. I'm not going to read the purple part because it's just a note for those who actually came in and read my blog post. So I'm not going to read that part, but feel free, to check out my blog and read it for yourself. So here we go. My husband and I met in 2001 at our middle school. We both were in the 6th grade, and the boyfriend-girlfriend thing was new to both of us. We met, liked each other, and started dating. I was his first real girlfriend, and he was my first real boyfriend, if there is such a thing. After a while, with no explanation, he broke up with me. I was devastated, but we managed to stay friends, still talking on the phone every day after school for hours and playing around in the halls during school. After 2 years, I was transferred to another school, and we lost touch. So I went to that particular middle school, 6th and 7th grade, and then 8th grade. I think they changed the zoning or something like that. I'm not real sure exactly what happened, but I ended up having to go to a different middle school. For as long as I can remember, I've been in church. My siblings and I were a part of our home church, and because of things that were out of our control, we started attending our grandmother's church for a little while. We walked through the doors of the church on our very first Sunday visiting, and who do I see as an usher? Yes, you guessed it, my husband. As devastated as I was to leave my home church, I thought, well, maybe this won't be bad after all, especially since I get to see his face every Sunday. It was good no one asked me or him what the sermons were about because we had no clue, too busy making googly eyes at one another during services. Then he started coming less and less until he stopped altogether, and we eventually started going back to our home church. About 5 years passed with no communication between us. I've graduated high school and now attending college. I'm dating a guy I've been knowing about 3 years. We were rarely faithful to one another and had a very unhealthy relationship, so we were on and off a lot. During one of our catching times. I was visiting him over his sister's house, and as I was leaving, I drove past a very familiar face. I immediately stopped the car, threw it in reverse, and rolled down the window. My husband and I held a conversation for a minute, exchanged numbers, and I left. A few days later, I called him to come visit me in my dorm room, and we spent the night together. He walked me to class the next morning, looked me in my face, and told me he loved me. I hadn't heard those words come from him since middle school, and little did I know it wouldn't be the last. So, I was dating a guy, on and off, very toxic relationship. I'll make, you know, another video about that, but terrible relationship. I stayed in it way longer than I should have. And we broke up and got back together a lot. And so when I ran across my husband, me and the guy were actually, we had broken up, and he called me back, and he was like, let's talk. And so we were at that point when I ran across my husband again. So although I was suspicious, shortly after that it was confirmed that I was pregnant. Although our relationship wasn't the healthiest, I decided to give it another go with my on and off boyfriend at the time, and who I thought was the father of my unborn child. So I cut off all ties with anyone he didn't approve of, including my husband. With my belly starting to show, I stumbled upon him a couple more times during visits with my ex to his sister's house, only looking at one another and not saying a word. So I had gotten pregnant with my daughter, and like I said, me and the guy were on and off a lot. And as I stated, it was not the healthiest. But because I was pregnant and I thought that he was my daughter's father, which it came out that it wasn't, that he wasn't, I for the sake of my child, I tried to give it another go. I do not recommend that at all. I do not recommend staying with a guy because of a child, especially if the relationship is toxic. If I could go back in time, I would not have stayed with him whatsoever. It still ended up not working out, and I ended up dragging my child into that toxic relationship. Although she doesn't remember any of it, she was a baby. I I just wouldn't do it. It's just so not worth it. In 2012, I had given birth to my daughter, who is now 4 years old, left my ex for good, and I'm living on my own, enjoying the single life. My cousin went shopping and found this dress she thought I would look cute in, so she purchased it and suggested we go out that night. I agree. I get dressed and ask my brother to take a few pictures of me, and I post them on Facebook. I go meet my cousin at her house, and as we're getting in the car, a message pops up in my inbox. It's from my husband. I had already done my homework on him, so I knew he's in prison. I know he's in prison, and I'm wondering how in the world is he in my inbox. But I asked no questions and inbox back. One thing that really confused me was he asked me if my man was going to get mad about him calling me. I replied that I was single, and his response was, for now. I didn't understand that, and he didn't give an explanation despite me asking for one. But I give him my number, he starts calling me, and that brings us to present day. Stay tuned for the continuation of the proposal and marriage ceremony. So, in 2012, like I said, my daughter, she was 4 years old at the time, and I had left my ex for good, that toxic relationship for good. And I was, doing my thing. I was living a single life. I was learning to be happy with me, learning to be happy with myself, and just start enjoying life. My cousin, like I said, she called me and was like, hey, I found this dress. I think you would look cute in it. And let's go out tonight. Let's have fun. So I will actually insert a picture of the dress here. But it was a cute dress. It was a cute dress, and I think she got it for like, I think she caught it on sale and got it for like really, really cheap. But I had posted the picture on Facebook, and like I said, my husband inboxed me. At the time, I did not know how he did it, but of course now, after being married for, years, I did learn that, they do illegal things in prison. A lot of people in there do illegal things in prison, and yeah, I'm just gonna leave it at that. Anyway, we inboxed back and forth. I was single. I had already done my homework on him because we had been back and forth for years. Like, we met in 2001, and at this point, it's November 2012. So, yeah, back and forth for a long time, long time. So he was my first love. He was, and so I always kind of kept up with him. Kind of kept up with him. Whether it was looking him up on MySpace, which we were friends on MySpace before he actually had gotten locked up. We were friends on MySpace. Whether it was looking him up on MySpace or Facebook, which we were friends on Facebook as well, or word of mouth. He knew some of the same people I knew. So yeah, I kind of always did my research on him, always. So yeah, I knew he was in prison, and like I said, kind of oblivious to at that point in time to what really they did or went on or whatever have you. Um, so yeah, had that conversation. He said what he said, and I'm like, for now, what do you mean? And he was like, don't worry about it. So yeah, we're gonna go to the next part, as it says, the proposal and marriage ceremony. Okay, you guys, so while I was editing this video, I realized that it was an hour long. I told you guys, my husband and I, we have a very, very long history. So I'm actually going to have to split the video up in at least 2, maybe 3 parts. So stay tuned, you guys, for part 2.